Hello, my dear students. Welcome to IMS GATE Academy. I hope you are doing great. Students, I have a very important topics today. Students, I might think you are enjoying the sessions on GATE Score Booster. In civil engineering team, we have Mr. Ankit and Pratik Mishra and me. We are delivering the lectures on the daily basis related to all the subjects, and we are coming with the transportation, which is one of the important subjects. So here I would like to tell you one important thing, my dear students. As we are inching towards the GATE exam, as we are almost 65 to 70 days, I can say, sorry, we are almost 60 days to the GATE exam. So this is the very important time for a real GATE aspirant, my dear students. Students, don't feel that around 80,000 of GATE aspirants are applying for GATE exam for civil engineering. Out of 80,000, there is only 8 to 10,000 of students who are qualified for GATE. So my dear students, when I tell you 8,000 and 10,000, you are competing with the 8,000 to 10,000 students only. For that, especially for civil engineering, my dear students, I would like to tell you very important things. Okay, for civil engineering, I would like to tell you very important things, Amma. In civil engineering, we have geotechnical, transportation engineering and environmental engineering. These are the three subjects where they are going to cover 40 marks. So these three subjects, I want my students to revise 2 times before the GATE exam. And I want every student of IMS GATE Academy and every student of GATE aspirant to prepare their short notes for these three subjects. Along with this, you have to cover all the previous 20 years questions, my dear students. So once you are done with these three subjects, you can start preparing parallelly also engineering, mathematics and aptitude. So I sincerely suggest each and every student who is a real GATE aspirant and who wants his rank below 1000 or below 500, they have to prepare this strategy. And by January, I want every student of IMS GATE Academy and GATE aspirants to be very precise in this. And coming to today's topic, students, we are talking about transportation. I might be taking your time, but this is the one of the value. Thank you, Pragna sir, because this is a very important time. I would like to add some more points. My dear students, we have another subjects like CPM and part, that is construction technology and management, where critical path method and program evaluation review technique, you will definitely see 2 marks question. In open channel flow, which was taught by Ankit, who is an excellent deliverable lectures given in open channel flow for GATE booster, please follow that 3 hours. At least you can score 2 marks. So my dear students, the planning is very important as a GATE student to secure the best rank. So in IMS GATE Academy, we have a stringent GATE plan sessions. So in IMS GATE Academy, we are coming online YouTube to help all the GATE aspirants in such a way that what should be the preparation strategy. So I hope this information will help the real GATE aspirants. Apart from this, my dear students, I would like to tell you what are the previous GATE questions handled by IIT Kanpur. This year GATE was handled by IIT Kanpur. So when you are talking about IIT Kanpur, my dear students, you have to see in which years they have applied, they have conducted the GATE exam. Based on that, it is just a reference. You cannot take it as granted. But for reference on which topics, suppose in geotechnical engineering, I have observed that in every GATE exam, they are getting a question from consolidation from IIT Kanpur. So these kind of findings, we will also come up with another video, but please have a look on this. And it is the time for all of you to open the AMTS test series provided by IMS GATE Academy. Because in every department, civil, mechanical, AC, electrical, we have an excellent team and we have provided with good number of questions for each test series. Around 750 questions are made. So imagine students, If you can revise these 750 questions along with the concepts, definitely, definitely you will be in track of 1000. I will not say you will be a single digit ranker, but definitely you will be below 1000. So it is the right time to realize and understand the importance of GATE, my dear students. In the coming videos, definitely for civil engineering, I'll be coming live to explain the strategy and how best you can prepare to get a rank below 1000, and thereby before 15 days or 25 days we'll target a rank below 500, which is the best rank for PSU. So let us don't waste our time in the prospect of the strategy and all. Let's start the beautiful subject, transportation. Do you remember, my dear students? I would like to tell you one important thing. When you are coming, when you are talking about livelihood, for any human being to live, there should be some food, there should be some bed, and there should be some shelter. These are the main livelihood. But my dear students, in the current technology or in the current competitive world, every country has its own reserves. If you see, the FIFA World Cup was conducted by Qatar, it has spent $200 billions just for the infrastructure. So imagine, students, if you want to travel from Bangalore to Mumbai, if it can be done in 8 hours or 10 hours, the major role for goods transport in India is either railways or roadways, or you can say airport. So these are the terms which are associated with transportation. To have a better country, to have a better GDP, to have a better per capita income, transportation plays a very important role. If you want your goods to be delivered within a day, your transportation should be fast. But it is another thing is associated with money. So imagine, my dear students, why you want to learn transportation subject is you are trying to provide the better facilities of road. And every transportation engineer should keep in this in mind, my dear students. They should to avoid accidents. As a transportation engineer, you think first priority is to avoid accidents. So for this, to avoid accidents, we are coming with a topic called traffic studies. That I will be explaining you tomorrow. And we are also providing rigid payments, flexible payments. All these payments can be discussed in transportation engineering. So when I talk about transportation, there is a lot to describe. So my dear students, when I talk about the transportation, we'll Hello, my dear students. Sorry for the inconvenience. Welcome to IMS GATE Academy. I hope you are doing great. My dear students, when you are preparing for GATE exam, especially we are moving towards almost 60 days to the GATE exam. So it is very high time for all the GATE students to have a high T. That high T will be captured only with real dedication, my dear students. What is the dedication for civil engineering students, my dear students? We have very good faculty pool like Ankit Dongrial and also Pratik Mishra and myself Sandeep. We will be discussing all the GATE subjects in the GATE score booster, and we have prepared the problems in such a way that all the topics are covered. My dear students, as we are moving 60 days, again I am mentioning, my dear students, 60 days. Your target, initial target should be minimum 60 marks. For that 60 marks, my dear students, geotechnical environmental transportation is a very, very important subject. Along with this, you have to start preparing engineering mathematics and aptitude. When I talk about engineering mathematics, you have to concentrate on differential equations, vector calculus, and also the most important thing like Laplace transforms and Rolle's theorem. When we talk about geotechnical, you have to be more precise on properties of soil, consolidation, shear strength, permeability, foundation. And when we talk about environmental, you have to think about digestion tank and all the tank design and what are the properties of water. Air pollution, noise pollution, definitely you will get two marks, my dear students. Now coming to the very important subject, that is transportation. My dear students, when I talk about transportation, transportation is broadly classified into three parts. Transportation is broadly classified into three parts, my dear students. What are the three parts we have classified? One is highway engineering, another one is railway engineering, another one is airport engineering. In highway engineering only, we talk about the traffic studies as well as flexible payment as well as the rigid payments, my dear students. So when I talk about transportation, in every developing country, my dear students, infrastructure plays a very important role. So for any country to grow bigger, their infrastructure should be well planned. So if you see the FIFA World Cup, the Qatar is spent almost $200 billion for the infrastructure and for the FIFA World Cup. Why? Because it shows the how goods can be transported, or it shows the infrastructure or available resources at their country, at their own place. Suppose some things like has to be transported very fastly, so here this transportation plays a very important role. So my dear students, when I talk about transportation, it is something like food, shelter and like bed. So when you talk about these three, this is also one of the livelihood. So this is a very important topic which I am going to discuss now. Now my dear students, when I talk about transportation engineering, okay, my dear students, when I talk about transportation engineering, what are the most important points I would like to cover? I'll tell you, my dear students. One second. See here, my dear students, when I talk about the transportation, the things which are very important for the GATE exam is one is geometric design, my dear students. One is very important is geometric design. My dear students, when I talk about geometric design, we have different topics in geometric design, my dear students. When we talk about geometric design, my dear students, I will tell you the most important part is stopping side distance, overtaking side distance, and we also have super elevation. Okay, my dear students, super elevation, and we also have curves which are valley curves, transition curves, or we can say setback. Like that we have different curves and we also have different properties. So from these topics, actually you will be getting definitely 2 to 4 marks, my dear students. And in from traffic studies, definitely you will get 2 to 4 marks, my dear students. So in flexible payment, you can get payments, you can get around 2 marks, my dear students. In flexible payments, you will get around 2 marks. So 2 to 4 marks here. So total is 6 to 12 marks. The rate in from 6 to 12 marks, you can see the weightage in transportation, my dear students. So my dear students, you can ask me, sir, in the IMS GATE Academy, we have an excellent faculty pool, my dear students. The most important thing I would like to tell you is we have a test series called All India Mock Test Series, my dear students. We have prepared 750 questions for each stream. Imagine, student, if you can prepare that 750 questions, along with the 20 previous year gate questions. Definitely, my dear students, you will definitely qualify and your rank will be below 1000 if you prepare the short notes also. Imagine, students, this is the right time to utilize this opportunity. And imagine, students, we are giving free. And definitely, my dear students, we also will be explaining that topics in a video sessions. So don't think elaborately about the other things. You have to concentrate these 60 days. If your 60 days are countable, your entire career will be countable. If your 60 days are doing good, your entire 30 years of your career will be very planned. Imagine, my dear students, you want to enjoy 30 years or you want to enjoy 60 days. It's up to you. You want to have a bigger enjoyment or you want to stick to for a lesser enjoyment. It's up to you. Prepare the short notes, prepare the 20-year questions, prepare the AMT All India Mock Test Series of IMS GATE Academy, where you have 750 questions. Along with that, my dear students, I am telling you very, very frankly, the strategy is very important. How do you prepare your GATE exam? What is your strength and what is your weakness? Suppose a diploma student might be weak in mathematics, so he has to dig into the basics of mathematics. He might be very strong in the core subjects, so he has to spend more time in mathematics. Similarly, an direct engineering student might be weak in core topics, so he has to spend more time in core. So these kind of small tweaks or small suggestions, if you can follow, definitely your dream of getting into public sector or your dream of every parent to achieve a public sector company, which indirectly will help for the growth of the country, you will also be a part and parcel of this student. So imagine, you want to be great or you want to be unique or you want to enjoy the 30 years, this is the right time, my dear students. So apart from that, my dear students, I would like to tell you the history of transportation. How the transportation has came into existence, my dear students. My dear students, when I talk about transportation, we have different plans. We have Nagpur Road Conference. We have Bombay Road Conference. We have also the Lucknow Road Conference. Okay. Sir, their agenda of these things is to increase the road connectivity. Sir, when the roads are connected, obviously development you can see. So, there is a target for each 20-year road plan. There is a target for each 20-year road plan. So, accordingly, in India, the project, and also we have CRRI, Central Road Research Institute, how best the roads can be developed, how to reduce the friction. As a transportation engineer, my dear students, I would like to tell you that every transportation engineer wants the work to be, they want every life is important. They avoid accidents. So for this, there are some organizations in India to take care of the transportation. One is Central Road Research Institute, where they conduct the tests and what best we can improve, how best we can improve the facilities of transportation. Now, my dear students, first thing I would like to discuss today, which is a very important topic, that is stopping side distance. Okay. When I talk stopping side distance, my dear student, what do you mean by stopping side distance, my dear students? See, definitely, what is the distance you have to, how much distance can be drawn to stop the vehicle? Immediately, without any movement of the vehicle, you cannot stop the vehicle. There will be small distance which will be traveled. So, my dear students, when I talk about stopping side distance, Stopping side distance is taken as lag distance. It is defined as lag distance plus braking distance. My dear students, stopping side distance is defined as lag distance plus braking distance. Sir, what is lag? Definitely, for see my dear students, the time of braking, the time of application of, remember my dear students, what I would like to tell you here is lag distance. What do you mean by lag distance here is, lag is something like Vt. Lag is nothing but Vt. And what do you mean by braking distance? Braking distance is something like when you apply the brakes, you are trying to, how much distance the vehicle has traveled, that one I would like to tell you. So here one is stopping side distance can be taken as lag distance plus braking distance. Now what is lag distance? So lag distance is given by the formula. Lag distance is equal to what, sir? Lag distance is equal to what? Lag distance is Vt. Now when you apply the brake, my dear students, when you apply the brake, you are trying to, when you are applying the brake, you are trying to stop the vehicle, and that in that process you will understand how much the vehicle has traveled. So here what is the derivation, I will tell you my dear students. You can say distance is nothing but velocity into time. Kinetic change in kinetic energy, you can say half mv square is equal to the work done. Because you are sir, I will tell you simple thing, amma. To stop the vehicle, the speed has to be changed. So there is a change in velocity. So the kinetic energy lost is equal to half mv square is equal to work done by the vehicle is equal to work done by the vehicle is equal to work done by the vehicle to stop, or work done by the vehicle to stop, or work done by the person to stop the vehicle. So you can say here half mv square is equal to, what is the work done, my dear students? Work done is nothing but, if I take friction as small f, my dear student, if I take friction as small f, okay, 1 second my dear students, if I take friction as small f, okay, and if I take the distance as b and weight, this is force into displacement is nothing but work done. So there will be some frictional, because due to the road surface there will be some friction. So you can write that friction, this is what, sir? This is display, this is what? Weight multiplied by the distance. So you can write here, my dear students, half mv square is equal to f into w into distance. Okay, my dear students. Okay, here mv can be written as what, my dear students? M can be written as weight upon g into v square. So this will be taken as f into w into b. So here what is w? W cancel. Braking distance can be written as v square upon 2gf. So if anyone asks you how the formula braking distance has came, is braking distance is equal to v square upon 2gf. Now my dear students, this braking distance can also be written as, you can write braking distance completely. You can write here, braking distance can also be written as v square upon 2g into f plus or minus n. Now my dear students, when we talk about ascending gradient, you take a positive n value here. When I talk about a descending gradient, you take a negative value here. So based on the gradient, you have to understand that these things will help you a lot. Based on the gradient. Okay, sir? So here, when I talk about the total stopping side distance, you can write the formula as stopping side distance is equal to what, sir? you have taken as Vt plus V square upon 2GF, where Vt represents the lag distance, my dear students, where Vt represents the lag distance and V square by 2GF represents the braking distance. This represents the braking distance. So this entire thing will represent you the stopping side distance. These entire values will represent you the stopping side distance. Am I clear, my dear students? So please write down this formula for any solving. My dear students, in GATE 2019 and 20, they've asked you especially what is braking distance. Only they have not asked the stopping side distance. They have asked you only what is braking distance. Okay. Now coming to the other important thing, my dear students, and one more thing, my dear students, if they ask you what is the code says, or we call it as reaction time, sir. What is the reaction time in case of stopping side distance? The reaction time according to the code is standard and it is taken as 2.5 second. 2.5 seconds. Students, you should be very careful. You have to think that the reaction time for the stopping side distance is 2.5 seconds according to the code. Next, my dear students, we are also talking about OSD. What is OSD is? OSD is taken as overtaking side distance. What is OSD? OSD is taken as overtaking side distance. OSD is taken as overtaking side distance. Now, my dear students, when I talk about the overtaking side distance, suppose if we have two vehicles which are moving here, okay. Now, when you want to overtake this vehicle, first of all, you should slow down the vehicle, and similarly, you have to accelerate the vehicle to move to the new position. I can say you have to move to the new position. To here, you have to accelerate. When you travel from here to here, the vehicle which is slower also will travel. So here overtaking side distance means what is the path the vehicle has traveled during the time of overtaking. So definitely a slow moving vehicle will definitely overtake the fast moving vehicle will definitely overtake the slow moving vehicle. In this process, what I would like to tell you here is, if there is one-way traffic only, my dear students, we talk about D1 plus D2. Overtaking side distance can be taken as, okay, my dear students, when I talk about overtaking side distance is taken as D1, D2, and D1 will be taken as the formula VBT, and D2 can be written as B plus 2S. Why B plus 2S is, when you want to overtake this vehicle, there will be two stopping side distance, means two distances which they want to stop. As part of that, we have taken B plus 2S, my dear students. Sorry. Now, this is the overtaking side distance formula. Here, my dear students, B will be taken as the formula VB into capital T, where capital T is given as the formula root 4S by A, where A is the acceleration and S is the distance. And one more thing, my dear students, I would like to tell you here, what is VB is the velocity of the solo vehicle, and VB is taken as V minus 4.5 meter per second, my dear students. And spacing, what is the space? S is the spacing between the vehicles. Okay, you can take the value as 0.7 VB plus L. And what is L is length of the wheelbase, my dear students. What is L here? L is known as length of the wheelbase. So, my dear students, when I talk about the overtaking side distance is taken as D1 plus D2, where D1 will be taken as VB into T and D2 will be taken as VB into T plus 2S, where T is equal to root 4S by A. And you can say, my dear students, S is equal to 0.7 VB plus L, and where L is the length of wheelbase, my dear students, where L is the length of wheelbase. And here the length of wheelbase is usually taken as how much, my dear students? The length of the wheelbase is usually taken as 6.1 meter, my dear students. And remember, if there is a two-way traffic, my dear students, you will have an additional term which is coming from the other direction, that is D3. So here what I would like to tell you is, see my dear students, there will be other vehicle when it is crossing from here to here. There will be similarly another vehicle which is coming in the other direction. So that we take it as D3, and the velocity is here given by velocity into T, because this capital T will be the same time to overtake, and this time also how much it has traveled in the opposite direction. And one more thing, my dear students, they will ask you what is minimum overtaking zone. If they ask you what is minimum overtaking zone is, if it is in one-way traffic, it can be written as 3 times D1 plus D2, or if it is a two-way traffic, you can write thrice the D1, D2, D1 plus D2 plus D3. And I have given you the formulas clearly. What is D1, what is D2, and what is D3. D1 is equal to VB into T, and here the reaction time is very important, my dear students. When I talk about the reaction time here, the reaction time here is 2 seconds. The reaction time is how much, sir? 2 seconds here. Is this clear, my dear students? Is this clear? Is this clear, sir? Okay. Next, when I talk about the next important thing is super elevation, my dear students. When I talk about the next important thing is super elevation. Actually, this is a very, very important term, my dear students. When you see in the here the rise of the outer edge, the rise of the outer edge with respect to the inner, means the rise of the outer edge of the pavement with respect to the inner, usually we call cant. Okay, so that is called super elevation, my dear students. As part of this, students, I would like to tell you one important factor that most of the people are aware. That is what, my dear students, you might be aware of the term called centrifugal force. You might be aware of the term called centrifugal force. What do you mean by centrifugal force, my dear student? When I talk about centrifugal force, what do you mean by centrifugal force? Centrifugal force is nothing but half mv square. Agree? Is it clear, my dear students? Now, I can say centrifugal force P is equal to half mv square, and if I write the weight mass as, if I write the mass as half into Wg into V square, this we call it as, one second students, this we call it as what, sir? This we call it as P by W. Now here, my dear students, P by W is equal to V square upon GR. P by W is nothing but V by GR. My dear students, what do you mean by P by W? P by W is nothing but we call it as centrifugal ratio, or we call it as impact factor, my dear students. What is P by W called it as? P by W is called it as centrifugal ratio, or it is also known as impact factor. So P by W is known as centrifugal ratio, or we call it as impact factor. Now, my dear students, you will ask me, what is the purpose of learning centrifugal ratio? Can anyone tell me? Please comment. What is the purpose of centrifugal ratio is? My dear students, vehicle can fail in two ways. Usually vehicle can skid. What happens, my dear students? Vehicle can skid. Or another thing is vehicle can overturn. So there are two possibilities, my dear students. There are two possibilities. What are the two possibilities that are happening is, one is skid. It can either skid or it can either overturn. That are the two possibilities how a vehicle can skid. So as part of this, my dear students, I would like to tell you one. See, if I take a vehicle in this way, if the distance between them is assumed as B, if the center to center distance is assumed as B, and the weight is supposed to act at the center, and we also have a centrifugal force P which is acting at a distance h by 2. So if I take the moment, so here if the moment should be balanced, here the moment will be acting in this way. If I take the force, this is what will be the force? The moment will be W into this perpendicular distance is B by 2 will be equal to minus of into h by 2, because these two moments are balanced by looking into this, then only they are said to be equilibrium. Now, my dear students, from this, B by 2 into H, my dear students, you can write here, one second, you can write here, okay, here it is H, so you can write here, one second. So what I can do is P into H. So if I talk here, P by W is equal to B by 2H. So these are the two things. One is this one, and see here. My dear students, when you are talking about the vehicle, there are two chances. When you are talking about the vehicle, my dear students, there are two chances. One is either it can skid, or another important thing is either it can overturn. So there are two chances. One is skidding, another one is overturning. Sir, we have an equilibrium equation, that is centrifugal factor is equal to P by W is equal to V square by 2G is equal to B by 2H, which I have derived now. And this is the formula for equilibrium. This is the formula for what, my dear students? This is the formula for equilibrium. And remember, my dear students, if the friction value is greater than P by W or B by 2H is greater than impact factor, that is centrifugal ratio, then in this case, no overturning or no skidding will happen. No overturning or no skid will happen. So these, when the values are more, when these values, F value and B by 2H values are more, when the values are more, then there is no possibility. What values should be more? These values should be more than the impact factor or centrifugal ratio. Then we can say that there is no chance of either vehicle skidding or either vehicle overturning. Now, see students, we have a beautiful question. I just want everyone to see this question carefully. What is the question here is, what is the question here, my dear students? Can anyone tell me? A vehicle of a width 2.5 meter, a vehicle of a width 2.5 meter and center of gravity height is how much, students? 0.75 meter is expressed over a curve with a centrifugal ratio of 0.4. The coefficient of lateral friction is 0.1. Now, the vehicle, so is it safe in overturning or is it safe in skidding, or they are asking. So for this problem, my dear students, I told you clearly P by W is equal to V square by 2G is equal to B by 2H. Okay. So there are two chances. This is the equilibrium condition which I told you just now, my dear students. This is the equilibrium condition which I told you. What I would like to tell you is, my dear students, when the friction is greater than the centrifugal ratio or B by 2H value is greater than the centrifugal ratio, then no skidding or no friction, means no skid or no overturning will happen. So first of all, we should consider these two things, my dear students. So first of all, we should calculate the centrifugal factor. Now, what is the centrifugal ratio? Centrifugal ratio, that is P by W, is given clearly, my dear students, as 0.4. So here it is 0.4. Now, what is coefficient of friction, amma? Coefficient of friction is given as 0.1. So F is less than P by W. So definitely skidding will happen. Definitely skidding will happen. Why? Because, my dear students, why skidding will happen, my dear students? Because the value of coefficient of friction, which is 0.1, is less than 0.4. That is the reason definitely skidding will happen. Now we have to check whether it is overturning or not. Definitely this question is very important, even though it is easy. B by 2H. Now what is B by 2H? The vehicle is having how much weight, my dear students? the vehicle is having how much width, my dear students? The vehicle is having a width of 2.4 meter. So 2.4 meter into 2 into 0.75. My dear students, you can clearly observe here, B is nothing but the width, that is 2.4, and the height here is given as 0.75. So here you can write B by 2H is equal to 2.4 divided by 1.5. This value is given as 1.6. So this value is how much, my dear students? This value is taken as how much? That value is nothing but how much, sir? That value is nothing but 1.6. So here what I would like to tell you is, when I talk about B by 2H or when I talk about F, now see students, 1.6 is definitely greater than P by W. 1.6 is definitely greater than P by W. So when you move on to the next slide, I'm telling you clearly P by W, that is centrifugal ratio, is 0.4, frictional factor is 0.1, and B by 2H value is how much, my dear students? It is equal to 1.6. So from this, F is less than P by W and B by 2H is greater than P by W. From this, it is evident that skidding will happen and no overturning. Skidding happens and you can say that no overturning. You can say that no overturning. Is this clear, my dear students? Is this clear? So come on, quickly answer. What is the answer, my dear student? Is it safe in water? Yes. Safe in water? No. This option is wrong. Not safe in skidding. One thing, not safe in. So you can say not safe in skidding. This is the right answer because it is safe in overturning but not safe in skidding. So it is not safe in skidding. This is the answer because it is not safe in both means it is safe in overturning. So these two options are also wrong. So the option here is the option B. Is this clear, my dear students? Is this clear? Quickly answer, my dear students. Now, before moving to this question, just read this question, my dear students. Just read this question, please. I hope you are understanding the question. What I would like to tell you is a rest vertical curve. My dear students, I hope you have read the question carefully. A rest vertical curve joins two gradients. One is +3 gradient, another one is -2 gradient for a design speed of 80 km per hour. What is the one thing I would like to tell you is, here positive sign indicates ascending gradient. One positive sign indicates it is an ascending gradient. So here what I would like to tell you, very important thing my dear students, we have the n value, what we call it as algebraic difference between the gradients. So here the ascending gradient is 3%, which is a positive, and we have a -2 gradient, so that is difference between the grades. Actually n is taken as g1 minus g2, that is whatever the gradient, first one is taken as 3% and the second gradient is taken as -2%. So n value is taken as 5%, my dear student. So what is the n value you have to take here is, the n value I should recognize here is the 0.05 value. What is the n value you have to take? N value, because it is a percentile, my dear students, because it is a percentile. So the n is nothing but the algebraic difference between, and here the stopping side distance is given clearly in the problem. The stopping side distance SSD is given as 120 meter, my dear students. So you should understand these concepts very clearly. So first thing is stopping side distance 120 meter given, and also one more thing, the n value, that is the difference between the grades, that is you can write 2 percentile, sorry 3 percentile minus of -2 percentile, so that will be equal to 5 percentile, and which will be equal to 0.05. And you know the height of the driver I is calculated as 1.2 meter, and the height of the object is taken as 0.15 meter. Okay, my dear students, one is, there are two cases here. One, we have to assume L less than stopping side distance, and we have a formula here, my dear students, 2s minus 4.4 by n. Okay, my dear students. Or there is another formula when L is greater than SSD, that is equal to NS square upon 4.4. So my dear students, I have so many students who will be asking this doubt, what is 4.4? What is 4.4 here is, what is meant by 4.4 here is root 2h plus root 2h whole square. How this value came is, so here you can substitute root 2h is the height of the driver I, which is 1.2 meter, which is, and 2 small h is the height of the object divided whole square. If you see this problem, if you can solve this value, you will get a value of 4.4. So it is something like a vertical curve, my dear students. When a positive grade is meeting a negative grade, usually, so what I would like to tell you is, this is a positive grade and there is a negative grade. When a positive grade is meeting a negative grade, we can say that it is a summit curve, and you can say it is a vertical curve. So based on this, the formulas are there, my dear students. I am also very clear in this. Sir, how do you start? I don't know actually. I sometimes start with L less than SSD and check the values. Once I get the length of the curve, Rahul, mid. Very good, very good. Another thing is, when L is greater than SSD, we check NS square upon 4.4. So in this way, what I would like to tell you is, we will compare the values, whichever condition is satisfied, definitely that will be your answer. Is it clear, my dear students? Okay. So here, my dear students, I would like to tell you what is this, my dear students. Here the road surface is how much? Here it is 1.2 meter, and here the height of, see, the height of the driver I is how much, sir? The height of the driver I is 1.2 meter, and you can say 0.15 meter is the object above the road surface. Now he is asking what is the curve length. What is the curve length? So this we assume that it is a vertical curve, and we are trying to solve the problem. Now see student, when L is less than SSD, we have a formula called length of the curve is equal to what, sir? 2s minus 4.4 divided by n. So you can write here 2 into s is 120 meter. So what is 120 meter is nothing but the stopping side distance, as 120 is nothing but the stopping side distance, divided by 4.4 n is nothing but 0.05. If you solve this problem, my dear students, you will get a value of 240 minus 88. You will get a value of 152 meter. You will get a value of how much, sir? You will get a value of 152 meter. This is very, very important. So here what I would like to tell you is, when L is less than SSD, you can write it is 150. But remember, are you getting this length is getting 150 is correct? No. Why? Because L is more than SSD. Because here you are assuming that L is less than SSD, but you are getting the value because SSD is 120 and 152 is definitely greater than 120. So this is the one which I would like to tell you, my dear students. Now, my dear students, I told you clearly, when L is greater than SSD, when I talk about L is greater than SSD, what is the formula we have, sir? When length of the curve is greater than SSD, what we can assume here is ns square upon 4.4. So you can write here, what is the value of n? N is nothing but 0.05. S square is nothing but 120 square divided by 4.4. So simply you can write here, students, 0.05 into 14400. 120 square is divided by 4.4. So 5 into 5 divided by 144. You can say something, you will get a value of around 163, my dear student. You will get a value of 163. So means if you see the options, they have given the options, you will get an option 163 meter. So why I am telling you, is our problem correct or wrong? Is our problem correct or wrong? I will tell you, my dear students. Definitely this 163 meter is obviously correct, sir. Why? Because the value 163 is greater than 120 meter. As it is satisfying this condition, I will answer the answer as 163. Suppose, my dear students, I would like to tell you one important thing, Amma. What is that important thing is, suppose this 152 is less than SSD, then this answer will be correct. But here what I would like to tell you is, L is not less than SSD. That is the reason this is happening. Am I clear, sir? Is this clear? Now, see students, the next question we have is the very important question. What is the next important question I would like to tell you is, the design speed for a two-lane road is how much, sir? The design speed for a two-lane road is 80 km per hour. What is the design speed, Amma? The design speed for a two-lane road is 80 km per hour. And imagine when a design vehicle with a wheelbase is how much, sir? Wheelbase is 6.6 meter. Negotiating a horizontal road, the off-tracking measured is 0.096 meter. The required widening of carriage width of the two-lane road of the curve is. So, my dear students, please read the question carefully. Please read the question carefully. I'll give you 1 minute of time. Okay, I hope you have read the question. Hello, my dear students, I hope you have read the question. When I talk about mechanical widening, or when I talk about extra widening, sir, actually, when do you provide this extra widening? Definitely, my dear students, see, definitely you say that when do you provide extra widening is in case of curves, in the zone of the curves, in the zone of this curve region, you will be providing the extra widening. When I talk about extra widening, my dear students, there are two things which are involved in extra widening. One is mechanical widening and other one we have is the psychological widening. Why I am telling these two words separately is, sometimes in GATE exam, my dear students, they are asking only mechanical widening and sometimes they are asking only psychological widening. So we have two types of widenings, my dear students. One is mechanical widening and other one we have is the psychological widening. So what is mechanical widening and what is psychological widening, I would like to tell you. Remember my dear students, when I talk about mechanical widening, it is nothing but NL square upon 2R. NL square by 2R is known as the mechanical widening. When I talk about psychological widening, it is taken as V upon 9.5 root R, where V is the velocity in kilometer per hour. So these two things are very, very important, my dear students. What are the two things which I would like to tell you is, when I talk about the extra widening, there are two terms. One is the mechanical widening and other one is the psychological widening. So extra widening is given by the formula mechanical widening, that is NL square by 2R plus V upon 9.5 root R. Now if you ask me, my dear students, what is N? N is nothing but the number of lanes. What is L? L is nothing but the length of wheelbase. And what is R? R is the radius and V is the velocity. Am I clear, my dear students? Okay. When I talk about extra widening, my dear students, the formula is as simple as that: NL square by 2R plus V upon 9.5 root R. So here what they have given, my dear students, the velocity is given as 80 km per hour. Velocity is given as how much, students? Velocity is given as 80 km per hour, and the length of the wheelbase, and see here students, the length of the wheelbase is 6.6 meter, and he has given the required widening of the carriageway is 2-lane road. So here the length of the wheelbase is given as how much? Length of the wheelbase is 6.6 meter, and he has given another important thing is number of lanes is 2. Now the only unknown here is, my dear students, one is the radius. You should first find out the radius before finding the extra widening. So when I talk about this, my dear students, we have a very important relation, that is E plus F. E plus F is taken as V square upon capital V square. When I show capital means it will be like V square upon 120 square R. So when I take this equation, my dear students, so we can say radius is equal to V square upon 127 into E plus F. Now you will ask me, sir, my dear students, you will ask me, sir, how do you know the values of E and F? The maximum values of E value, that is super elevation, in case of plain rolling terrain, we take the value as 0.07, that is 7 percentile, and the friction value is 0.15. So when I talk about R, radius is nothing but what, students? Radius is 80, velocity in kilometer per hour is 80 square. You can write 80 into 80, my dear students. Or you can write 80 into 80. Okay. Now when I talk about 80 square here, okay. Now you could talk about 80 square divided by, my dear students, what is the value? 127 into E plus F. You can take my E value as 0.07 plus F value is 0.15. So what is the value? Quickly tell me, what is the value, sir? What is the value? Quickly tell me, my dear students. What is the value, sir? It will be 6,400 divided by 127. Means it will be roughly around 50. 50 divided by 0.22 means 5 times. If you solve this, you will get a value of radius will be equal to 230 meter. Am I correct, my dear students? The radius value will be equal to how much, sir? The radius value will be equal to 230 meter. Now when I talk about the radius is equal to 230 meter, here I have an extra widening, sir. What is that extra widening? Here is NL square by 2R. NL square by 2R plus V upon 9.5 root R. So this is the formula for extra widening. This is the formula for extra widening. And when I take here number of lanes is 2, my dear students, and length of the wheelbase is 6.6 square, that is 70 around. So 2 into R is 230 meter, and this V is already known, that is 80 divided by 9.5 into root 230. Now can anyone tell me what is the answer, my dear students? Anyone? So here it is 6.6 square means it will be 36, around 40 you can say, and 80 divided 40 divided 1 by, it will be 1 by 6.16 or 0.16, and this will be around 15, 150 means it will be around 0.5 or something. So if you calculate this, you will get an extra widening value of 0.75 meter. You will get a value of around 0.75 meter. So now check the answer, my dear students. The answer here is 0.75. Now one more thing I would like to tell you, my dear students. Now one more thing I would like to tell you here, my dear students. What is the one more important thing I would like to tell you is, when the radius, sir, see my dear students, and one more thing I would like to tell you, no extra widening is provided no extra widening is required when the radius value is greater than 300 meter. When the radius of the is more than 300 meter, you can say no extra widening is required. When the radius is less than 50 meter, you will provide the extra widening in the inner side. In the inner side, you will be providing the extra widening. If the radius is greater than 50 meter and less than 300 meter, remember, when the radius is greater than 300 meter, no extra widening is required. So here, when the radius is greater than 50 meter, the widening will be distributed on both the faces. The widening will be done on both the sides, or you can say both the sides. Okay, this is the brief explanation of what do you mean by extra widening. Remember, extra widening, we have two things. One is mechanical, another one is psychological. Mechanical widening is given by NL square by 2R, and psychological widening is given by the formula V by 9.5 root R. So when I talk about these two things, this is the values for extra widening. One is remember, my dear students, when the radius is more than 300 meter, no extra widening. When it is less than 50 meter, it is provided inner side. When the radius is more than 50 meter, widening will be provided on both the faces. Is it clear, my dear students? Now please read this question carefully, my dear student. What is the compensated? I read the question, my dear students. The question here is, a road in a hilly terrain is to be laid at a gradient of 4.5. What is the gradient given, my dear student? Gradient is 4.5. A horizontal curve of radius 100 meter, a horizontal curve of radius 100 meter is laid at a location. Gradients needs to be based on the combination of curved horizontal and vertical profiles. As per IRC, that is Indian Road Congress, the compensated gradient will be. Now see, students, actually when I talk about compensated gradient, my dear, or grade compensation, when I talk about the compensated gradient, my dear students, when I talk about the compensated gradient, my dear students, I talk here two things. One is, there are two formulas. One is 30 plus R by R, and another one we have is 75 by R. Now see, students, whenever there are two values, definitely you will ask me the whichever value you have to take. Here the radius is given as how much, sir? Here the radius is given as how much, my dear students? The radius is given as 100 meter. So when the radius is given as 100 meter, so you should understand what is the compensated gradient. When I talk about the compensated gradient, it is clearly given as 30 plus R by R, that is equal to 30 plus 100 divided by 100. That is equal to how much, my dear students? That is equal to 1.3. So that value is how much, sir? That value is nothing but 1.3. And another answer is 75 by R. That is equal to 75 by 100. So I told you clearly, grade compensation will be taken as least of the two. So you remember, my dear students, out of 30 plus R by R, very important formula, 75 by R, out of these two students, you should take the minimum value into consideration. This is very, very important, and you will take 0.75. Now, if we see the grade compensation will be equal to what? Actually, the grade is given as 4.5. 4.5 minus 0.75, that will be equal to 3.75. But remember, never ever the gradient cannot be, this cannot be less than 4. This value cannot be less than 4. If they ask you what is the grade compensation is, the grade compensation will be 4 percentile. Or if they ask you compensated grade means 4.5 minus 0, 4, how do you get 4.4 from 4.54? That will be equal to 0.5. So remember, my dear students, I would like to tell you very important thing here. There are two values in grade compensation. One is 30 plus R by R, another one is 75 by R. Out of these two values, my dear students, you will calculate the minimum value and that will be taken as grade compensation. And out of that, you will subtract the compensated gradient as 4.5 minus the least value, you will get a 3. But this value cannot be less than 4%. In that case, you will take grade compensation as 4%. If they ask you compensated gradient, from 4.5, how much you have to subtract to get 4% is 0.5. In this way, you can solve the problem. Is it clear, my dear students? Is this clear? Okay. Now, read this question, my dear students. Quickly read this question. Please read the question quickly, my dear students. I will be back in a minute. Okay. Please read the question. Now, my dear students, we are back with another important question. This was a previous gate question also. Here, what I would like to tell you is the coefficient of average rolling terrain friction of a road is F. So, what is F here, my dear students? It is nothing but the coefficient of friction. You can write F here as coefficient of friction. F, you can write it as coefficient of friction. And when I talk about G, this G is nothing but the positive gradient. So he is telling it is an ascending gradient. If the gradient of the road is doubled, remember, my dear student, the gradient, now initially it is initial. If I take initial gradient, you can say, now if I take initially the gradient, what I would like to tell you, my dear students, the initial gradient is what, my dear students? The initial gradient is G. If I take this as initial, the final gradient is what, my dear students? The final gradient will be taken as twice G percentile. The final gradient is taken as how much, my dear students? The final gradient will be taken as twice the G. So what will be the percentage change in the braking distance is asking, my dear student. So I told you clearly, my dear students, I never ever asked you what is stopping distance. I never asked you stopping distance. Why? Because in stopping distance, my dear students, we have two things. In stopping distance, we have two things. One is lag distance. In stopping distance, we have two things. One is lag distance and other one we have is the braking distance. In we have two things, my dear students. When I talk about these values, we have two things in stopping side distance. One is lag distance and other one is braking distance. So here is asking what is the change in braking distance when the grade is doubled along the horizontal curve. So here I will tell you very important point, my dear students. Braking distance, I can tell you, braking distance when there is a positive gradient, you can simply say that the braking distance initially, you can say the braking distance initially is given by the formula V square by 2GF plus G percentile, my dear students. G percentile can be taken as 0.01 G. See, my dear students, here G is in percentile, so that is the reason. That is the reason I have taken as 2GF of this formula. Now, in the second final case, what he has told is G is getting doubled. So, G is getting what, sir? 2G. So, in this case, the formula has become V square upon 2G F plus or minus 0.02G. Sorry, my dear students, I have written here plus or minus because it has clearly given it is positive gradient. So here he has clearly given it is positive gradient. So you can directly take here, my dear students, here you can directly take it as positive gradient. So what is the change he has asked? But see, this is a very important question, my dear student. He is asking what is the percentage change in the braking distance. So when I talk about the what is the percentage change, you are very important, my dear students. What is the percentage change in braking distance? He is asking what is the percentage change in braking distance. This is what he is trying to ask me. Can anyone tell me what is the percentage change in braking distance, my dear students? Initial minus. So what is the initial braking distance, my dear students? Initial is V square 2GF plus 0.01G. This is the initial braking distance minus the final braking distance is V square upon 2G into F plus or plus 0.02G. This is the initial, this is the change, whatever, because he is asking in percentile. So V square upon 2G initial is F plus 0.01G. And remember, my dear students, you have to multiply with 100. Why? Because, my dear students, you should understand here that they are asking the value in percentage. They are asking the value in percentage, my dear students. When they ask the value in percentage, it is very important that you have to serve in this way. This is very important, my dear students. So when I talk here, V square by 2G is common everywhere. V square by 2G is common everywhere. So I have cancelled that. And so if I take here, my dear students, you will get the value, top value as 0.01G upon 0.01G upon F plus, sorry. See, students, how smartly you have to do the calculation also. This F plus 0. This and, sorry, my dear students, you can say here this value and this value will be cancelled. So this value will be 0.01G into F plus 0.02G into 100. This is the percentage change you can say in the problem. So we'll see the answer, my dear students. What will be the answer? So you can say into 100 is there, okay. And we got what, my dear students? 0.01G only. If you see here, it is 0.01G. And we also have 100. And the denominator is what value, students? The denominator itself is F plus G. Fr means nothing but the friction coefficient, my dear students, or coefficient of friction. So this is the correct answer, because if you see here, there is no 0.02, so this is cancelled, and this is 0.02. Actually, we got 0.01. So this one is also wrong, and initially denominator is also wrong. So the correct answer here we have is option A. Is this clear, my dear students? Is this clear? Can you quickly respond here? Okay. Next, please read the next question, my dear student. Now, A vehicle is, see students, in today's webinar, in today's gate booster class, I would like to tell you one important thing. Today I'm concentrating on the braking distance and stopping, like we are more concentrated on geometric design. In tomorrow's class, I'll be discussing more on traffic problems as well as in the payment class. So please be more focused on these problems, my dear students. Now here what is I would like to tell you is a vehicle is moving on a road of grade 4 percentile at a speed of 20 meter per second. What is the speed? Speed is given as 20 meter per second. Consider the coefficient of rolling friction as 0.46. So the friction here is taken as how much? 0.46. And the acceleration due to gravity is taken as how much, my dear students? So you can write 10 meter per second square. On applying brakes to reach a speed of 10 meter per second, okay, what should be the required braking distance? So what I would like to tell you very clearly in this, my dear students, initially the speed is 20 meter per second. Now the speed has been reduced to 10 meter per second, and it has, see here, and it has a, due to what? It might be due to friction, it is 0.46, and acceleration is taken as how much, my dear student? 10 meter per second. Now what should be the braking distance is asking. What is the braking distance? Can anyone tell me? Quickly, my dear students, please go through the problem. Okay, my dear students. Now see here, I have very important thing here. We have a concept called braking distance. We have a concept called braking distance. Now what do you mean by braking distance here? Braking distance is taken as the formula V square upon 2GF. Braking distance is taken as what, my dear students? Braking distance is taken as what, sir? V square upon 2GF. But actually the speeds are varied here. So you can write V1 square minus V2 square upon 2GF plus or minus N. Why I am taking N, my dear students, is there is a gradient also given, my dear students. So this is the braking distance formula in this case, because due to the change in velocities, the braking distance formula will vary. The formula is given as V1 square minus V2 square upon 2GF. So here what I would like to tell you is the acceleration V1 square is how much, my dear students? It is 20 square minus V2 square is 10 square upon 2 in, sorry my dear student, upon, we can say 2 into G is how much, my dear students? G is 10 multiplied by, what is the value of friction, my dear students? The value of the friction is taken as 0.46 plus, what is the value of gradient N? What is the value of gradient N? N is taken as 0.04 value. Because why N is taken as 0.04? Because the grade is given as 4 percentile. That 4 percentile will be taken as 0.04. Is this clear, my dear students? Is this clear? So when I talk about this, it will be taken as 0.04. So this value will be equal to 400 to 4. It will be 300 divided by 2 into 10 into 0.46 plus 0.4. It will be 0.5. 2 into 0.51. It will be equal to 30 meter. So the answer here is 30 meter. Any doubts, my dear students? Any doubts? Now we have another beautiful question, my dear students. Please read this question very carefully. See, a car follows a slow moving truck. What is a car is following? A car is following a slow moving truck at a speed of 10 meter per second. A car is following a slow moving truck at a speed of how much, sir? 10 meter per second on a 2-lane road, two-way highway. This is very important, my dear students. The highway is 2-lane, two-way road. So why? Because my dear students, based on the two-lane two-way, you have to decide how the OSD will be. Because in this problem, we are not sure. If it is a two-lane road, you take it as D1 plus D2 plus D3. If it is a one-way road, then it is D1 plus D2. So we have that OSD formulas based on different conditions, my dear student. So the car is reduced to 20 meter per second. Sir, a car is flowing a slow moving truck which is speeding at 10 meter per second. Now the car also has slowed down to 10 meter and it follows the truck maintaining a distance of 16 meter from the truck. What, sir? So it is maintaining a distance of 16 meter from the truck. Am I clear, my dear students? On finding a clear gap in the opposite traffic stream, the car accelerates at an average of 4 meter per second square. The car is accelerating at an average of 4 meter, overtakes the truck and returns to its original lane. When it returns to original lane, the distance between the car and the truck is again 16 meter. What is telling, sir? Even after crossing that, the distance between them is 16 meter. So the distance traveled by the car during this time, it leaves the lane and subsequently overtaking. So here, my dear students, when I talk about the overtaking side distance, my dear students, already I told you, overtaking side distance can be taken as D1 plus D2 in a single lane. Okay, my dear students, in a two lane, what I can write is D1 plus D2 plus D3. This is a two lane road, my dear students. What is D1? I told you V into T, VB into T, or D2 can be taken as VB. So VB into T plus 2S, or we call it this as B, my dear student. So if you see the problem here, he is asking indirectly. Good evening, Chandu. Good evening. Good evening. So here he is asking the VB by TS value. So here another important thing is, what is D3? D3 is given as V into T. V into T is this. So what is the overtaking side distance? You can write it as D1 plus D2 plus D3 in two lane road. Okay. But he is telling that here one car is there and another truck is there here, and it is crossing this still. After that also, the distance between them is maintained as 16. Okay. So here he is asking clearly this D2 distance only, my dear student. He is not asking overtaking side distance. He is asking what is the distance. So here I can do in two ways, Mama. What is the two way is initial displacement formula. If you see displacement, S is equal to UT plus half AT square. We have this formula. From this, actually, if you substitute T is equal to capital T with the difference, you will get a formula called 4S upon A. What is T here is the time period, and the distance between them is 16 meter. He has given in the clearly, and the acceleration is 4. So the time period is 4 seconds. Here the time period is 4 seconds. So if you talk T is equal to 4 seconds, so the distance at T is equal to 4 seconds, you can say the distance at T is equal to 4 seconds, you can write it as UT plus half AT square. So this T will be replaced by 4 meter here. You can write 10 into 4 plus half into 4 into, because acceleration is how much, my dear students? Acceleration is 4. So acceleration is 4 into T square is also 4 square. You can write, am I correct or wrong, my dear students? U is how much? 10. T is 4. So we have time is how much, sir? Time is also 4 square. So am I correct? Is it acceleration 4 or 10, my dear students? Can you please quickly tell me? Is the acceleration 4 or 10 there? But he has given C. The car accelerates at a 4 meter per second square. The car accelerates is how much, sir? 4 meter per second square. Am I correct, my dear students? See here. What I would like to tell you is, a car is slowly moving with a speed of 10 meter per second, and it accelerates at a speed of 4 meter per second square. It accelerates at a speed of how much, sir? 4 meter per second square. So here same thing, acceleration is also 4. So you can write it as 4 plus 64 divided by 2, that is 32. So total is 72 meter. Or my dear student, this is one way. Yes, so the total is 72 meter, my dear students. Do we have 70? So the answer is B. So the answer is B. But remember, I will tell you in the other case also. My dear students, I told you another way also. What is the another way I told you? D can be written as B plus 2S also. What is B? I told you, my dear students, VB into T plus 2S. Okay. What is VB, my dear students? Velocity of the slow moving vehicle. This is also same. And T, that is nothing but 4. So, because how do you get T is equal to root 4S upon A. That is equal to root 4 into 16 by 4. This will be also 4 second. So, 10 into 4 plus the distance between them is 16 meter, clearly given in the problem. So, 40 plus 32. If you do in this way also, you will get 72 meter. Is the traditional method which we do every time the overtaking side distance. Are you clear, Chandu? Are you clear, Chandu? We have two methods, Chandu. One is D1 plus D2 plus D3, the Sunwend. See, one more thing I would like to tell you, very important thing, my dear students. The reaction time is very important. The reaction time, my dear students, when I talk about SSD, the reaction time for SSD is how much? The reaction time for SSD is 2.5 seconds for stopping side distance. The reaction time for OSD is 2 seconds, my dear students. So these 2 seconds and 2.5, very good, Chandu, very good, very good. Now, Chandu, please read this question quickly. I'll be back in a minute. Chandu, I hope you are going through the problem. So here, I will tell you very important thing, my dear students. A road is designed for a speed of 110 kilometer per hour. What is the design speed? Okay, the design speed is how much, sir? 110 kilometer per hour. And having a super elevation of how much, sir? Super elevation is E is equal to 0.08. Sir, it is 8%, my dear students. So the super elevation will be taken as 8 percentile. If the coefficient of friction, is 0.01, okay, if the coefficient of friction is, sorry, not 0.01, my dear students, it is 0. The coefficient of friction is 0.10. 1 second. The coefficient of friction is 0.10. What is the minimum radius of the curve for safe vehicle? What is the minimum radius of the curve for safe biking? Can anyone tell me quickly answer? Can anyone tell me quickly the answer? Kushbu Patel, D. 528.5 meter. No. Now see sir, a road is designed for a distance of how much? 110 km per hour. Okay. The horizontal super elevation is how much, my dear students? It is 8 percentile. And the coefficient of side friction is how much? 0.1. So what is the minimum radius is telling? So if you remember, when we talk about super elevation, when I talk about the super elevation, E plus F is equal to what, sir? Kushbu, I think you might be right. Sorry, I have not seen. Kushbu, I think you might be right. Okay, I'm not seeing the answer. Kushbu might be right. E plus, it might be 528.5 meter might be correct. Okay. Now see students. Kushbu, very good answer. Chandu, please check it. I for E plus F is equal to what, my dear students? You can write V plus F is equal to V square upon 127 R. So here you know what is friction, Amma? What is friction? Friction is nothing but 0.1. So you can write here super elevation is 0.08 plus the friction value is 0.1 is equal to V square. What is the value? V square is kilometer per hour 1 ton square upon 127 R. So you can write here, my dear students, R is equal to 110 into 110 divided by 127 into 0.09. So what is the answer, my dear students? So 127 R. You can write 0.08 plus 0.18, not 0.09, my dear students. Small correction there. It is 0.18. It is 0.18. Sorry. Because it is given as 0.18. Anyone quickly answer me? What is the radius? Yes or no? It will be around 528.5 meter. Very good answer. Very good. So what is the minimum radius is 528.5. Is this clear, sir? Chandu, are you clear? Sir, the basic equation here is E plus F is equal to V square by 127 R. Or, okay, why it is V square by 127 R? Because we are converting into kilometer per hour. That is the only case. G is equal, actual formula is what, my dear student? Actual formula is what? E plus F is equal to V square by GR. Okay. Okay. Now, when you convert, this is also important, as 1 kilometer per hour is equal to 5 by 18 meter per second. Okay. If we solve this, my dear students, what will be 5 by 18? Can anyone tell me quickly what is 5 by 18? Can anyone tell me quickly what is 5 by 18, my dear students? Quickly. What is 5 by 18, my dear students? 0.278. Yes or no? Now, if you substitute this 0.278 into 0.278 divided by 9.81 into G is R in meter per second. Now see, if you solve this 0.27 into 0.07, it will be roughly, you will be getting the value as V square upon 127 R. Actually, when they give you in mixed traffic, my dear students, actually when they give you in mixed traffic, the same formula, when I give you in mixed traffic, the same formula will be taken as V square by 225 R. The same formula will be taken as what? V square by 225 R. Is this clear, my dear students? Is this clear, sir? Is this clear, my dear students? Am I audible, sir? This is the formula in case of mixed traffic, because you will take only the 75 percentile. You will consider only the 75 percentile. Instead of here V square by, you will have to take 0.75 V whole square by 127 R. In case of mixed traffic, you will take it V square upon 225 R. Is this clear, my dear students? Is this clear? Okay. Okay, sorry students. Now see students, I would like to tell you what is super elevations, basic thing, because these are the quite common questions which we are seeing. Now what I would like to tell you here is, when I talk about super elevation, my dear students, when I talk about the super elevation, we have E plus F is equal to V square by GR. This is the basic and general equation. Now my dear students, we are supposed to see E is equal to V square upon 127R is the simplified formula. When you solve this problem, my dear students, suppose if the super elevation value, E value is less than maximum super elevation, that is 0.007. If this value is less than 0.07, it is evident that you can take this E value. If it is not taken, then adopt E value as 0.07. In case of hilly terrain or snow, then it will be 10%, but as for in plain and all, it will be 0.07. In this case, my dear students, you know E plus F is equal to what? V square by GR. Here we assume the value of F. F is can be taken as V square 127R minus E max. Now again you will calculate, sir, see my dear students, first you have adopted if E is less than E max, then you can take E directly. If E is greater than E max, then you will adopt E as E max value, and using this E max value, you will calculate the friction, my dear student. You will calculate the friction. And remember, when you calculate the friction, my dear students, I would like to tell you very important thing, my dear student. When you calculate the friction, if the friction value is less than 0.15, if the friction value is less than 0.15, you can adopt whatever the design you have done. If the F value is not less than 0.5, then it is a serious, again we have to change the velocities, again the procedure will be repeated. So here what I would like to add, my dear students, see here, the first and the foremost case is E plus F is equal to V square by GR, and this formula will be taken as V square upon 127R. And if E is less than E max, this is a very important design, my dear students, you can adopt E. You can adopt the E. If suppose, if E is greater than E max, adopt E as E max. Adopt E as E max and check the values of F. And again check the values of F using the formula V square by 127R minus E max. And in this case, if the F value is 0.15, then E adopted is correct. If it is not correct, we have to change the velocities accordingly. Why super elevation is provided, my dear students? The super elevation is a concept. It is nothing but a rise or a cant or a banking. Rise, cant, banking are nothing but the super elevation. The intention of super elevation is to, here the super elevation is provided to overcome the like overturning or to overcome the skidding. Now my dear students, when we talk about the length of the transition curve, when I talk about the length of the transition curves, now my dear students, when I talk about the length of the transition curves also, we have different formulas, my dear student. We have different formulas. The length of the transition curve is given by the formula V cube by CR, and C is nothing but the rate of change of acceleration. We call it as jerk, and we take C value as 80 upon 75 plus V, where V is in kilometer per hour, my dear student, where V is kilometer per hour. And we also have, Chandu, are you following? Okay. Now my dear students, when I talk about the length of the transition curve, the length of the transition curve is also given by the other formula, that is En into W plus We. If it is rotated about inner edge, if it is rotated about inner edge, my dear students, if it is rotated about center edge, En by 2 into W plus WE, and remember n value for plain rollings it is taken as 150, for hilly terrains it is taken as 60. So there is another formula for transition curve, that is En into W plus WE, where WE indicates the extra widening, my dear students, where WE indicates the extra widening. And we also have an empirical relation, LS is equal to 2.7 V square by R. Okay, and this is also another transition curve. Out of all these formulas, whichever the maximum value, that value will be adopted as the value of transition curve. Is this clear? In plane rolling, this is an empirical formula. All these three formulas will be taken. This is about when it is rotated about the center line. When it is rotated about the center line, these are the different formulas for the transition curves. Please look into this, my dear students. Any doubts, my dear students? Any doubts? So we are also discussed about the transition curves. Okay. Now, my dear students, I'll quickly tell you two things here. One is stopping side distance, the important formulas in geometric design. In geometric design, one we have a stopping side distance Vt plus V square upon 2GF. Remember, sometimes we will talk it as minus or plus or minus n, where n is nothing but 0 percentile, where n is in percentile. Now remember, positive sign will be taken in case of ascending gradient, my dear students. Positive sign will be taken in case of ascending gradient, and negative sign will be taken in case of descending gradient, and negative sign will be taken in case of descending gradient. So what is Vt is, Vt is taken as lag distance, Vt is taken as lag distance, and V square by 2G, this formula is taken as braking distance, this formula is taken as braking distance. And one more thing, my dear students, this is reaction time, T will be taken as 2.5 seconds. Reaction time is taken as how much, my dear students? The reaction time is taken as 2.5 seconds. When I talk about another important thing, gradient, grade compensation or okay, my dear students, when I talk about the grade compensation, we have two formulas. One is 30 by R, or another one is 30 plus R by R, another one is 75 by R. Whichever is lesser, you will take the compensated gradient, and the grade, whatever the compensated gradient, cannot be less than 4%. It cannot be less than 4%. If it is less than 4%, you have to take the value of 4% only. Next, when I talk about the overtaking side distance, my dear students, in two-way traffic, we have D1 plus D2 plus D3, and velocity of the slow vehicle VB into T plus VB plus T plus 2S, okay, capital T, plus V into T. This V is the velocity of the vehicle which is coming from the other side, and VB is the velocity of the slow moving vehicle, and T is given as root 4S by A. And here reaction time is taken as 2 seconds. And remember, the minimum overtaking length or the minimum overtaking zone, the minimum overtaking zone is taken as 3 times. Usually it is taken as, if it is one-way traffic, it is 3 into D1 plus D2, and if it is two-way traffic, it is Sir Kushbu Patel, are you following? So it will be taken as 3 into D1 plus D2 plus D3. Chandu, please respond me clearly. Is this clear, sir? Next, sorry. And another important thing I would like to tell you here is the Great. Another important thing I would like to tell you here is the valley curve, means summit curve. When L is less than stopping side distance, we have a formula called 2s minus 4.4 by n, where n is the difference between the gradients. Where n is the difference between the gradients. If L is greater than stopping side distance, this will be equal to how much, my dear students? This will be equal to ns square upon 4.4. And here I told you clearly how this 4.4 came, my dear students. How this 4.4 came, my dear student. This 4.5 came due to the root 2h plus root 2h whole square. This is the value, sorry, whole square. This is the value, you can write, this is the value, how the 4, where h is the height of the driver eye, where h is the, capital H is the height of what, my dear student? H is the height of the driver eye, and small h is the height of object, where small h is the height of the object. So these things you should be very clear to understand this problem, my dear. And another important thing I told you, my dear students, is extra widening. When I talk about the extra widening here, there are two things, my dear students. When I talk about the extra widening, one is the mechanical widening, another one is the psychological widening. And mechanical widening is given by the formula NL square by 2R, and psychological widening is given by the formula V upon, are you following, my dear students? V upon 9.5 root R, where V is velocity in kilometer per hour, N is the number of lanes, L is the, sir, can you share the PPT, sir? Chandu, I will be let you know in a couple of, means after the thing I will let you know. Okay. Now N is nothing but the number of lanes, N is nothing but the number of lanes, L is nothing but the length of wheelbase. L is taken as what, sir? Length of wheelbase, my dear student. L is taken as the length of the wheelbase. So this is the what extra widening. And remember, there is no requirement of, no extra widening will be required when the radius is greater than 300 meter. When the radius is greater than 300 meter, my dear student, there is no extra widening. If the radius is less than 50 meter, extra widening will be provided on the inner side, and if the radius is greater than 50 meter, it will be provided, it will be distributed on both the faces equally. And as I told you, when I talk about super elevation, we have the basic equation E plus F is equal to V square by GR, and we also remember the equilibrium equation P by W is equal to V square by GR is equal to B by 2H. And remember, P by W, this is called as what, my dear students? This we call it as centrifugal ratio. This we call it as centrifugal ratio or impact factor, or what I call you, that I call it as impact factor. Here what I would like to tell you is, if B by 2H is greater than P by W, you can say that the no overturning. Very important point, and we can expect this year question on this. And if F is greater than P by W, there is no skidding. So you can have to check. Now they can ask you another important thing, my dear students, which will occur first. Suppose if F is greater than B by 2H, whichever is the higher, that will not happen first. If F is greater than B by 2H, you should understand that overturning occurs first. Overturning occurs first. And after overturning, you can say skidding. After that, you can say skidding. After that, you can say skidding. Now, if B by 2H is greater than, if B by 2H is greater than F, now first what will happen is, skidding will happen first. Skid will happen first. So remember simple thing, my dear students. What I can tell you is, larger the value, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen to that. If whatever the value is more, that suppose, see my dear students, here also whatever the value is more, that will not be happening. So that keep larger value to avoid the failure. Is this clear? Is this clear, my dear students? Please go through it for 1 minute. Is this clear, my dear students? Is this clear? Chandu and Deepesh Patel, is it clear? Okay. Now, my dear students, when I talk about the design of super elevation also, E plus F is equal to V square by GR, and the maximum value of E for plane terrain, the maximum value for E for plane rolling, or we can say terrain, okay, the maximum value is 7%. You can take it as 0.07. For hilly terrain with snow, you will take it as 10%, my dear students, and super elevation cannot be more than 7%. So when I talk about the mixed traffic, we take the value as V square by 225R. This is the value for mixed traffic, my dear student. Because we take mixed traffic, the velocity as 0.75 V. But in general, we take the value of E plus F is equal to V square upon 127R. In general, we take E plus F is equal to 127R. And remember, if E value is less than E max, then this you can follow clearly the value of E. If E is not less than E max, then again you have to adopt E max value as 0.07 if it is plane terrain, and you have to calculate the F value. Again, if you calculate F value, if F value is less than 0.5, then you can adopt E max. If it is not less than 0.5, you have to think about the velocities. You have to think about the velocities. Am I clear, my dear students? And as I told you, the last one which I would like to tell you here is the length of the transition curves. The length of transition curve is En by 2, W plus WE. This E is extra widening, W is width. And one more important thing, usually students will take a mistake, my dear students. If the width is 7 meter, usually the length of single lane road is 3.75. But if you want to find out the number of lanes, you have to divide by 3.5 meter. This is, if some distance, x distance by 3.5 will give you number of lanes. Are you following, my dear student? So here it is the transition curve when it is rotated in the center line. When it is rotated above the center line, when it is rotated about the center line, then you can say this is the formula. When it is rotated about the inner edge, my dear students, when it is rotated about the inner edge, the length of the transition curve is En is equal to W plus W. This is the formula for inner edge. And one more important thing I would like to tell you, my dear students, the length of the transition curve is given by the formula V cube by CR, where C is the rate of centrifugal acceleration. C is given by 80 by 75 plus V. V is velocity in kilometer per hour. And you will get this answer, C value, and you will solve it. And the last empirical relation is 2.7, mountains are rolling, 2.7 V square by R. Now, you will calculate in all these three cases, my dear students. In all these three cases, you will be calculating the length of the transition curve, and whichever is the largest value, that you can take that as the answer. Is this clear, my dear students? Is this clear? And what are the different, sir, you can also understand that there is another important, my dear students. We also have a camber, my dear students. We also have camber. To drain off the rainwater, so to drain off the rainwater, you can say gradient. Camber is nothing but the to drain off the rainwater. To drain off the rainwater, we provide camber. And remember, my dear students, in cambers, we have different parabola. We have parabolic camber. We have a triangular camber. Okay, that is how camber will be there. Triangular camber. See, my dear students, parabolic camber will be helpful for fast moving vehicles. And we have an equation that is 2x square upon NW, where n is the width of the road and x is this horizontal section. And similarly, when we talk about the triangular, we take the camber height as W by 2n. These are the generalized equation, my dear students. So, but we usually take the combination of both the things, that is parabolic and triangular tendon, so that triangular will be helpful for slow moving and parabolic will be helpful for fast moving. But in general case, we take both the conditions, that is a combination of parabolic and triangular tendon for all the kind of vehicles. What is a camber? And remember, Usually for identical traffic, this is an important condition. The grade compensation is equal to twice the camber value to get a good flow of traffic. For usual flow of traffic or for safety, we assume grade compensation is equal to twice the camber. And I told you already, my dear students, there is also called a Central Road Fund. Also, we have CRF, that is Central Road Fund. CRRI, there is called Central Road Research Institute. And we also have a authorities called NHAA, National Highway Authority of India. And we also have Central Road Fund also, my dear students. So like this, we have different definitions also. So all these things will help you in understand. I told you we also have different road plans like Nagpur road plan. So, and we have Bombay road plan, and we also have the Lucknow plan. So here their intention is to increase the road pattern. Initially they have targeted 20,000 kilometers, suppose they have moved to 1 lakh kilometers and they have moved to 10 lakh. So those specific values you don't require, my dear students. They have taken, and in one of the, actually there is called like National Highway Development Program is also there, to which values you means how the payments can be improved, how the highways can be improved, what are the specifications you should follow. All these things are taken in National Highway Development Program. Is this clear, my dear students? Can you quickly respond? Can you quickly respond, my dear students? Is this clear? Is this clear? Okay, my dear students, in the next session, no, please don't leave the session. In the next session, I would like to discuss more about the traffic engineering, which is a very, very important topic, and we can expect a questions from the traffic engineering as well. Apart from traffic engineering, we would like to also ask you the discuss about the flexible and rigid payments in tomorrow's session, that is 10th of November. Please don't miss that session, and it will be very helpful. And I would like to tell you what IMS is doing. IMS has different programs, CAT, CET, CMAT, GATE, and also all these programs. And remember, my dear students, in GATE 2023 and 24, we have our genuine ranks. We have our second rank, fourth rank, and these are our top rankers who has developed their ranks on their hard work as well as with the mentorship of the IMS GATE Academy. So in IMS GATE Academy, what we provide, my dear students, in IMS GATE Academy, we provide the classroom program. In India, we are the only center, we can say, at a different centers. We have almost 6 centers where we are following the model called hybrid classroom, where you will have offline classes as well as the online classes, my dear students. So we have our centers at Vijayawada, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and you can visit our nearest center. If you have any queries, you can talk to the respective persons and clear. Because one more thing, my dear students, here the lead mentors will be your counseling thing. So you have a chance to interact with the faculties to get the real access. And one more thing, my dear students, we also have a zero fees program. In that zero fee program, if you enroll, you can watch some of our recorded videos and how the doubts have been solved and what are the common questions that a student asks. Those entire things are covered in our zero fees program. And another thing, we have exclusive live online program in the students in the areas where they are unable to access the offline classes. For them, we are also providing the exclusively online program. And for very low cost, we are providing the self-learning program, my dear students. If the students want to have it a very low cost at a feasible rate, they can go with the self-learning program where the doubts can also be explained. But exclusive line program is different, and we have a different platform for that. In classroom program, we can proudly say that IMS GATE Academy has 750 plus hours and 100% offline classes we are providing at Bangalore. This is a right time. If you are a condition from Bangalore, you can really access this, my dear students. That only institute which is providing the 100% full offline classes. And we are proudly saying that under the team of the Ankur Sharma, we could directly say that this Tuesday, we are going to expose our books, what we have done this 1 year. What the improvements we have done to the GATE question booklet and all. We are coming this opening in front of you students. Don't miss the Tuesday class where all our team members will be ready with their well-mannered booklet with a systematic approach. And we also have very good team in a mechanical, Mr. Vijay, Saurav, Atul and all the team, Pragna and all. And civil also we have very good team, especially me and Pratik and Ankit. Ankit is an excellent professor for especially for geotechnical, and also he handles the open channel flow. And we also have the exercise books, that is 4,000 plus questions, and we have gate questions books, also doubt solving portal. This is a very important point I would like to tell you, my dear students. What exactly doubt solving portal? My dear students, any doubt which is posted in LMS doubt portal, within 24 hours of time, that doubt will be explained. And I'm pretty sure that the doubt, if it is not satisfied, we are ready to conduct a live session with the respective student, and that doubt will be answered within 24 hours of time. And this is an excellent future of IMS GATE Academy. That is my planned strategic sessions. Students, we identify the strength and weakness of the students, and the students have the one-to-one mentorship program. That mentorship program understands what the student is really having, whether he's having in which areas the needs of improvement is there, or in which areas he has to concentrate more, how best we can approach him, the student. Those things he can directly contact with the respective. If he is from mechanical, he can directly in contact with mechanical mentors. If he is from civil, he can contact the civil mentors. And we have the test series, and we have increased this test series in this year with a good pattern and with good planning, and we have come up with an excellent chapter test, subject test, multiple subtest and full length test. And in all these tests, we are trying to understand the each and every topic and provide you the best material. See, my dear students, when we have some questions, even the students are appreciating, and that was like we have questions like L1, L2, L3. Based on the difficulty, we have classified the questions into L1, L2 and L3. So these questions will help you to understand more. And the next one we have is the post-gate interview guidance, my dear students. Remember, we have different opportunities. After gate exam, you can get into foreign universities, you can get into public sector, you can get into any of your dreams like NIT if you are into want to management. So actually, based on your score, which IIT you have to apply, which branch you have to apply. Like if you are more good in structures, you can apply for structures. If you want your research area to be in rock mechanics, very peculiar branch where IIT Delhi is providing, or some people are more interested in PhD, then they should opt for IISc. So like this, what is the guidance we required for the student will be providing. And my dear students, this is our exclusive live program, my students. We are having 750 hours, 22 to 30 books we are having. Another thing, we are having GATE question booklets. And also we are having another important thing. I told you, my dear students, doubt solving portal. If you have the doubt solving portal at any point of time, even at night time, morning time, at your own time, you can just post a question and that answer will be explained in 24 hours of time. That is the beautiful thing where all the students have appreciated in these past 10 years. In the past 10 years in the IMS GATE Academy, we have observed that this option is well appreciated from the students, and this is the feedback from the students. And my planned strategic sessions, which I told you already, we have this chapter test and post-interview guidance. And self-learning program, we have 400 hours. In offline, we are providing 700. We are having 22 doubt solving, quotation books, and post-gate interview guidance. All these things are provided in LPT. See, remember, my dear students, what is LPT or learn practice test? What I will tell you, my dear students. See, strategic planning is very, very important. When you talk about a strategy, see, students, the approach of GATE exam is very important, my dear students. So many students will be demotivated right now. No, my dear students, don't think that GATE exam is difficult. I am telling you again and again, out of 1 lakh students, only 10,000 students are getting the qualified. Do you remember that, my dear students? When I talk about 25 marks, so 25 marks can't you secure, my dear students? So there are 90% of the students who are getting less than 25, which can be done by you very easily. If you prepare mathematics, if you prepare aptitude in civil and geotech and transportation and environmental, if you prepare apart from this CPM part and also open channel flow and surveying, these three subjects, definitely your rank will be below 1000, and these 60 days are still sufficient. And we have, remember, in addition to this, you should prepare last 20-year questions, and you have to prepare the short notes, which is very, 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 very important, my dear students. If you are an IMS student, we are providing the My Plan mentorship program at any time from these 60 days. You are ready to book the slot at your own interest. Now, so what in IMS GATE Academy, my dear students, this is the work hardness. This is the kind we have struggled. We have made this 1 year to go through these questions. Like we have 84 tests of 50, and we have subject level tests. We have gone an advanced level test, and we also have given multiple subject tests. We have full length mock tests. So imagine the number of questions, my dear students. If you can prepare these questions and understand the concept, definitely you will be the rank holder, my dear student. See, my dear students, practice makes man perfect. As I told you, when you have a dream, you can achieve high. This is the words given by APJ Abdul Kalam, my dear students. A common man can become a president of India. So you should be self-motivated. If you are preparing 4 hours, you have to push to 6 hours. If you are 6 hours, 8 hours, like that, you have to motivate yourself to achieve your dream. And remember, my dear students, as I told you, we have an excellent program called GATE Zero Fees program. You can see what this, no institute will provide you, my dear students. 100 plus hours we are providing. We are providing 100 plus hours, my dear students. That 100 hours will give you what exactly is IMS GATE Academy is providing and all. We have 12 chapter tests, 6 subject tests, 6 past papers and all. And see, my dear students, geotechnical. So here how many books are there, my dear? This is the beautiful thing of IMS GATE Academy. We have e-lectures 94, 22 e-books and 30 e-tests. For again structural analysis, see, my dear students, we have for one subject 2-3 faculty, 3-4 faculty will be taught, and all those you can access for all the access for all them to, you can view all those videos and you can access those videos. So we have student portal. This is a My Plan session, my dear students, one to many entering session. This we will describe in a very generic way, but this is the one which is very important, my dear students. Because as I have done personally to one-to-one mentorship, almost 30 to 40 students, I can understand from the students in the last minute, sir, we are demotivated. Oh, sir, we are unable to solve. Sir, another important thing, my dear students, I am telling you again and again, virtual calculator, please understand the virtual calculator easily. If you can understand the how to solve the virtual calculator, practice, because virtual calculator will save you 5 to 10 minutes of your time. And this is a very, very important point, my dear students, because my previous students who have trained previously, who has the better experience of virtual calculator and time management, have done best in the GATE exam. So this, I hope you have enjoyed this session, and in the coming, means in the tomorrow's session, I'll be coming with the traffic engineering, my dear students. In the traffic engineering class, you can come up with all the doubts, and also in traffic engineering, my dear students, I would like to discuss about the traffic studies, mainly traffic flow, density, okay, my dear students, and also the patterns, traffic different patterns, and I will solve you some of the problems related to railway engineering, and we also will discuss about the airport engineering also, my dear students, and some of the problems related to flexible payment and also rigid payment. I'll be taking you through this. So my dear students, we also have gone through some of the previous GATE questions, and as I told you, more important, IIT Kanpur is more of a theoretical question background. So understand those things. Thank you, Ajay. Definitely, I'll help you in the tomorrow's session. And it's a really, students, in GATE Score Booster is a booster exam. It's something like a capsule. you understand the importance of the gate booster and try to prepare. And this is the right time to utilize your thing. If you can at least concentrate this 60 days of your journey for gate preparation, your 30 years of life will be very good. So I hope you have enjoyed this session, and please like this session and share this session. Thank you one and all.